out just like Terry said you do.
The episode begins with a young Bart asking his father about everything he sees, but Homer responds with few explanations or details, as Bart is still too young to understand. Then, Bart asks why Homer left his toy car on the stairs, since he tripped over it and broke his leg and neck. Later, Bart is taken to Grandpa's house while Homer recovers from the injury. Bart starts to scare Homer, who is now traumatized and doesn't want Bart near him. Grandpa tells Bart to do it again because he finds it funny, and even though Marge tells Bart he shouldn't do it, she can't hide her laughter because she also finds it funny. So, Bart decides to scare Homer one last time while everyone mocks poor Homer. While Bart is at Grandpa's house, he asks to play with toy cars, but Grandpa, being very old, can't bend down because he wouldn't be able to get up again. Disappointed, Bart says that neither his father nor Grandpa wants to play with him. However, Grandpa tells him to relax, as there are other ways to play with cars. Soon, Grandpa opens the garage and shows Bart his old car. Excited, Bart asks if he can sit in it, and Grandpa agrees, saying that it's the only way Bart can drive the car. Bart points out that he is too young to drive, but Grandpa replies that legally he can't either. Soon after, both are happily driving, while the police are having a barbecue in their patrol car, and one of the officers suggests seasoning the sausages with pepper spray, but he accidentally sprays it in his face. To make things worse, he confuses hot sauce with water and throws it on his face, making things even worse. This allows Bart and Grandpa to go unnoticed as they speed away. Grandpa tells Bart that he has more courage and spirit than Homer did at his age, to which Bart responds that he wishes this day would never end. Grandpa replies that this is impossible because time doesn't stop, and the years go by unnoticed. 2 years later, Bart is now driving the car alone with Grandpa, and they arrive at the Simpson house. Marge, slightly irritated, scolds Grandpa for bringing Bart home so late, as his tutor had come to teach him to read. Grandpa responds that he never needed a tutor when he was a child. During Bart's reading lesson, he struggles to read a sentence correctly. Lisa, his younger sister, arrives and reads the sentence perfectly, even though she is younger. The tutor praises Lisa for her early reading skills, and Bart, feeling bad, asks why she can read and he can't. The tutor tells him not to worry, as he won't need to read, saying that restaurant customers will just point to what they want him to cook, mocking him like a child with no future. While Bart is in the living room, Marge praises a beautiful painting Lisa made, saying she'll put it on the couch. Bart then says he also made a painting, which he drew directly on the refrigerator wall and the curtains. Hearing this, Marge rushes to the kitchen, alarmed. When Homer and Marge see the kitchen covered in scribbles and drawings, Homer becomes hysterical. Bart asks if he at least likes the drawing, and Marge insists that Homer say something positive to their son, but even trying, he ends up getting angry anyway. While Homer repaints the house to cover the scribbles, Bart tells Lisa outside that there's one thing he can do better than her: hold the car keys. When Homer finishes repainting, Bart crashes the car into the wall, destroying the entire kitchen. Homer and Marge decide to go to a psychologist to understand Bart's behavior. The psychologist explains that this is due to Homer's lack of attention and suggests they go on a camping trip together. However, Homer ends up taking Bart to a hotel, disappointing him. Once inside, Homer watches a hockey game until he falls asleep, leaving Bart bored and sad. Back at home, Marge asks how the camping trip went, and Bart lies, saying it was great even though it wasn't. Then, Marge asks Lisa about school, and Lisa announces that she was Student of the Month at Springfield Elementary, even though she had just arrived there a month ago, while Bart had been there for 2 years and never won anything, which makes him angry and sends him to his room. Homer takes Bart's dessert under the pretense of bringing it to him, but Marge knows he is just going to eat it, which he does. When Homer goes to Bart's room, he tells him that maybe he doesn't believe this now, but one day he will be glad to have a sister. Bart says that Homer will always love her more than him, but Homer denies it, saying he loves both equally, 40% each. Bart makes a sticker for Homer to put on the car, which Homer happily accepts. However, when Homer leaves, he realizes there is no more space on the bumper for more stickers, so he ignores the sticker, and it flies out the window while he drives, leaving Bart disappointed. After a time jump, Bart is now 12 years old and celebrating his birthday. However, the moment is ruined when Lisa announces that she has been Student of the Month for 48 consecutive months at Springfield Elementary, which frustrates Bart. He goes skateboarding with Milhouse, and that night they decide to break streetlights, but the police quickly catch them. Milhouse is arrested and taken to juvenile detention, while Bart hides in a shelter. Grandpa gives him a BMX bike as a gift, encouraging him to enjoy his youth, even if it means breaking his neck. 3 years later, Bart, now 15, is skilled at performing tricks with the bike. Meanwhile, Marge and Lisa go on a camping trip together, leaving Homer and Bart home alone. Before leaving, Marge mentions that this could be Homer's last chance to connect with Bart. Homer tries to start a conversation, but it lasts only a few seconds, as Bart shows little interest. Discouraged, Homer leaves, and Bart takes the opportunity to throw a party, inviting many people. While everyone is having fun, Bart sneaks off with Sherry. Meanwhile, Nelson talks to Shauna about his promotion at his new job, which he doesn't take seriously, and Milhouse tells a girl that his time in juvenile detention taught him that the greatest crime is a life without faith, showing her his tattoo, but she backs away. Bart is kissing Sherry in a room but soon realizes he made a mistake. He was kissing her instead of his sister Terry. He quickly pulls away. When he leaves the room, he smells marijuana and decides to go upstairs. Upon opening the door, he sees Homer smoking. Bart warns that they'll get into trouble if the police find out, but Officer Clancy is there, smoking with his father. Bart asks for a moment alone with Homer, and Homer admits that he used to be just like Bart, but stopped acting like a kid when Bart was born. Father and son hug, and everything seems fine until Homer tells Bart that he won't go anywhere or do anything with his life. Frustrated with the comment, Bart runs off, grabs his bike, and heads to Grandpa's grave. After Grandpa rambles as usual, he gives Bart the idea to enter a BMX competition, saying he's good at it and will never be overshadowed by Lisa. In the extreme BMX competition, Bart is one round away from winning and feels he is finally about to achieve something on his own merit. Homer, holding a small flag, thanks God that this is considered a sport. Marge and the kids arrive to support Bart, also waving flags with his name. Noticing Homer's small flag, they wonder why it's so small, but Homer responds that it's not about size, but what you do with it. Lisa does some tricks with her flag, winning a trophy just for that. The final round begins, and Bart performs several tricks, culminating with his signature move, setting the tire on fire with a match to use it as a stove, pouring instant noodles into his helmet, and cooking them in the air before eating. Everything seems to be going well, and Bart thinks he's finally escaping Lisa's shadow, but then he sees her shadow on the ramp, which causes him to lose control and fall, knocking him unconscious. He wakes up thanks to Lisa, who performed CPR that she learned at camp, and she is hailed as a hero by the crowd, which makes Bart even more irritated. When Lisa tries to prevent Bart's helmet from falling on his head again, Bart refuses her help and ends up passing out again. Sometime later, Bart starts drawing caricatures at the pier and is invited to Milhouse's graduation party. At first, he doesn't want to go because Lisa is graduating in the same year, but he decides to go anyway. At the party, Milhouse's parents argue in front of him, and Lisa tries to cheer him up, saying he's better off than ever. Milhouse responds that she's the best thing at the party, which enrages Bart. He is upset about always being second best to Lisa, even with his best friend. Lisa confronts Bart, saying she is tired of being blamed for everything in his life, but she also admits that he is a talented artist who never does anything with his talent. She adds that since she ruined his life, now he has the perfect ingredient to be a true artist. Bart takes her words seriously and rides his bike, reflecting on their conversation as advice. 2 years later, Bart opens a custom bicycle shop in honor of his grandfather, who inspired him since childhood. Nelson, now healthier thanks to an artificial pituitary gland created by Lisa, surprises Bart. Nelson apologizes for mentioning Lisa again and even returns $5,000, the total amount of money he stole from Bart's lunchboxes during school. Curious about Nelson's change, Bart is shocked to find out that Nelson and Lisa are dating again, which explains Nelson's transformation. Lisa apologizes to Bart for not telling him, thinking he didn't care about her anymore, but Bart says she was right to call him an artist. He then shows them a large mural he painted, capturing many moments of his life, although Lisa notices that she's nowhere in the painting. Bart quickly changes the subject, offering to buy a beer for Lisa and her boyfriend while closing one of the shop doors, and a large painting dedicated to Lisa, one of his favorite sisters, appears. Touched, Lisa says she's happy to see it, and they reconcile. Nelson, seeing the mural, realizes that Bart is actually El Barto. Back in the yard, just like at the beginning of the episode, Homer finally answers the detailed questions Bart asked him when he was a child, including why the grass they're lying on is green. It's artificial. Homer advises Bart to pretend he's on the phone if anyone tries to ask him a question, saying it helps avoid awkward conversations, a tactic Homer immediately uses when Bart asks him another deep question about the meaning of life.